people should know how to handle, to hold their leaders accountable. We need accountability in the system. Of course, zero tolerance for corruption and indiscipline.
Then, ladies and gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to you, the leaders of this body, for extending the invitation to me and for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts on the direction of our country's democracy, and indeed on issues that affect the survival and progress and stability and well-being of our nation as well. Yesterday, I planned to spend quite some time here, but things took a sudden and unpredicted turn. Today, we are in mourning. Two great Nigerians have just departed. One, a former head of state and president, and then the other, my traditional ruler and father from the Jebula. I was not just from Bayelsa and the South. That's how we're all connected. We are indeed, at the end, one people. A prince from Ijebu Ode also. And my king, the Ujale, just passed yesterday, later hours of yesterday. So we are actually in a mourning mood. The president has declared a state of mourning, 7 days mourning. And I have just issued a statement. The press condoling with the family of President Buhari, the government, and the good people of Katsina State, and then my father, His Eminence the Emir, and the entire Daura Emirate, who have also adopted me as their son as well, and proposed a title, very high-ranking chieftaincy title. And I hope to be there, just as I hope to be in the Jebode, condole, to join other princes and condole people who have lost our patriarch and father. So this event, ordinarily, my view was that it should be postponed. But the organizers came and pleaded and said, all of you from far and near have assembled, have arrived at Abuja, from all over this country, and they have made all arrangements. And that's how I succumbed. I agreed to be here. It will not detract from the importance of this event and the views we are here to share. But this event is holding on the backdrop of the departure of our respected leaders. And it was good, Abdul, that you called on all of us to rise to observe in minute silence, which you have done, both for President Buhari, but also we are also mourning the loss of our Kabisi, the Awujale, my father. May their father's souls continue to rest in peace in Jesus' name. Amen. So on that note, let me thank all of you for sparing the time, finding the time to come all the way, stop all the very profitable things you have all been involved in. And these days, things are very easy with Nigerians, isn't it? Yeah. No, honestly, I think things are very easy. Very, very easy. Yes. And in spite of all of that, trying to survive, pay your bills, take care of yourselves and your families, school fees, rent, hospital, and so on, you managed to set aside. Yesterday, some of you traveled all the way, and then today you are here. Probably you go back tomorrow. I join you all in thanking God for the joining mercies. The mercies of God that brought you back. And I pray that at the end of your event, God will also lead you all safely back home in Jesus' name. Amen. I believe that it shouldn't be too long before we meet again. Yes. Because in as much as we want to discuss everything that there is to be said, because there's so much to be said at this time in the life of our nation. But beyond saying, there's also so much to do, isn't it? Yes. This, therefore, is the first in a series of interactions we are having. And so I enjoin you all to continue to meet, know yourselves, and interact as you are doing today, probably tomorrow before you leave. But I honestly, Abdul and one box, I think we are going to look for another time for us to also interact. But I'm delighted to be here. And you have asked me to talk about how to safeguard our democracy. That's a very serious matter. That's a very, very serious matter. But first, who are you, gentlemen and ladies? You are what they call, you are NGOs. You have different NGOs, and you are civil society operators. And your name is Nigerian Civil Society Alliance for Democratic Change. So your tough is civil society. Now, those two words are important. Civil, meaning that the work you do has to do with our civic obligations, duties, and responsibilities. Not so? Yes. And you are doing so in our society. Now, the United Nations says people like you are another level of government. NGOs and civil society organizations are very important and globally recognized. You are operatives, but you are non-governmental. Civil society operatives. Talking about the duties of citizenship. Talking about what followers should do. Talking about what leaders should do. And also the duties they owe their society. So your job is a serious one. Very, very serious. The only people that can compete with you in terms of the importance of your work are the fourth estate of the realm. These editors who are seated. They are the only professional group. And their work is similar to yours. And the Constitution says they have a duty to hold leaders what? Accountable. You also have a duty to enlighten the citizenry. So you are like members of the fourth estate of the realm. As far as propagation of the duties of citizens is concerned, as far as propagating the responsibilities and duties of leadership are concerned. So that's your work. It's a big work. Especially in a society where things are far from being ideal. In a society bogged down by ignorance, bogged down by poverty, bogged down by social strife. The work of enlightening the citizens is not the duty of the press alone. Of course, government cannot do it alone. So you are very, very important. And that's why I thought I should draw attention to these key elements in your nomenclature. Civic society, civil society. And then you are saying, for democratic, you're an alliance for democratic change. Change comes by several means. But under the Constitution, and you have pledged to advocate and fight for change through the democratic process, isn't it?
Yes.
Democratic process meaning enlightening citizens, organizing citizens to support policies when those policies are good and you agree with them, to organize people to oppose policies when those policies are bad and you disagree with them. That's your work also. That's it. And so, that's why I thought when I received this invitation, I should be here to let you know. And like you, I am an operator in our democratic system. When you contest for elections in our democracy, you have subscribed to the democratic order, meaning you rely on the consent and the support of our people, whom we serve. And you subject yourself for periodic elections and ask your people, have we done enough? And you abide by the views, by the verdict that the people give to you. That's the hallmark of the democratic system. That's the difference between the democratic way of changing system and then all other ways. And we don't subscribe to other ways. Like you, we subscribe to the constitutional, democratic way of talking about change, of organizing for change, and of working for change. And we do so in political parties, in a multi-party democracy. Different parties, but all subscribing to the democratic, peaceful, constitutional way of effecting change. We do so, as I said, through periodic elections. But for the democratic system, the constitutional democratic system of bringing about change to be effective, there must be respect for the process, due process, and the rule of law. There must be free elections, free and fair elections. There must be respect for the views of all by those who lead. There must be respect for the people. That's why those who framed our Constitution have included fundamental guarantees, which we call the fundamental human rights. Because you can't even be meeting if the Constitution of this country did not give you the freedom of association and the freedom of movement from Kano to come to here and to go back. And then, crucially, to give effect to your democratic freedoms. The Constitution has given you the freedom of what? Speech. Without that freedom, you can't have a democracy. Without that freedom of speech, without that freedom of association, that's why you can gather yourselves. It's guaranteed. So, yesterday I was reading, in spite of the bad news, or before the bad news, of the passing of our leaders. First President Buhari, and then later the Awujale. Someone called and forwarded a news item to me by the chief of staff, my good friend and former parliamentary colleague, Bajabiabila, when he said that a coalition of politicians is legitimate exercise of the rights of freedom of association and is good for our democracy. I said, yes, that's a parliamentarian speaking. Yes. That's the right thing. In our democracy, people have the right to meet by whatever name. You may disagree with why they are meeting. You may not be happy with what they say, but fundamentally, they have the right under the law, the power to meet. So that should be the attitude of everyone in government and also those of us in opposition. For those of us who don't believe that this country should be a one-party state, there must be absolute respect for the freedoms guaranteed. Most important, freedom of association, freedom of speech. And I think in this country we are making progress. Under the military, you couldn't gather like this. People couldn't say the kind of things they say. When politicians meet, they meet for two things. They meet either to support a government, and if you are a candidate or a likely candidate, they meet to plan how to vote for you. If they are not in support of you, which is their right, it is their right to support you or not to support you, isn't it? Yes. Even as I'm talking like there are people, no matter what you've done, who will say, today I don't like the way your face is, I won't support you. Yes. It is their right. Yes. And when they don't support you, it is their right, using their freedoms under the Constitution, to meet and see how they vote you out. It's their right, constitutional right. Once you remove that, what you have is a dictatorship. What you have is not a democracy. So I was very pleased when I read that from my friend, former parliamentary colleague. And I commend him and commend that to all those in power and in government. Now, those of you in the civil society movement in Nigeria, you have to be prepared to do more, because there is a sort of decline in the quality of leadership of political parties, of the system of politics. And so a number of the things parties should do, unfortunately our parties are not institutionally, they are incapable. And what do political parties do? You can't have a constitutional multi-party democracy without strong political parties. So even as a member of the opposition, I would want and pray for Nigeria to have a strong party in government. Strong, united, focused party in government. We shouldn't ask for a splintered party without focus in government. No. Even when it may be to the advantage of the opposition, no, that's not good enough. Because the party in government, like the APC, we want them to be strong, we want them to be focused. And at the same time, we also must work for a strong and united and virile opposition party, capable of advancing alternative views, capable of pointing out their flaws and taking them to task, capable of mobilizing the citizens to reject them and defeat them at the polls, and also capable of running a government based on an alternative agenda. That's what happens. Is that not what happens in advanced democracies? Yes. That's it. See, a few months ago, last year, you saw what happened in the US. The current president, Donald Trump, lost re-election 4 years ago, lost to Joe Biden of the Democratic Party. And the Republican Party went to work. Donald Trump himself overcame all the personal obstacles placed on his way, including several convictions and even a sentence. Survived even assassination attempts. And thank God they survived. Because violence is not the language of politics.
Yes.
No committed politician advocates violence as a strategy for winning an election. No. Because you only know where violence begins, you don't know where and when it ends.
Yes.
Is that not so?
Yes.
That's why we must all condemn violence anywhere it rears its head, whether from someone in opposition or someone in government. And when they went into the polls, this man, who had several trials and some convictions, the American public came out and decided that he and his vision and what he was preaching and talking about was preferable to the views and the vision advanced by Kamala Harris of the Democratic Party. And it plays out in all countries that are truly democratic. You see, that's why I say, you civil society groups in Nigeria, you have more work to do. Because the political class have almost destroyed all the elements that can give rise to a virile democracy and protect our constitutional democracy for us. They have destroyed their own parties. Destroyed all the parties. Political parties are supposed to be building blocks of unity of a country, where you have people from all over the country knowing themselves, talking about issues, agreeing on a united vision. Political parties are to be at the vanguard of recruiting and selecting people for leadership. No president does that alone. No. It is the duty of the political party. At the wards, local government, states, zones, and the national committees, they are to say, this candidate is good, this person is good, this lady is good. Within gender sensitivity, we want this also candidate as in. Those are decisions that political parties take. And not only selection. Political parties are national treasures. They are national institutions. That's why they're important and should be protected to survive. They are also instruments of training political leadership. Political leadership, like every other thing, every other vocation, requires training. You don't wake up one day and see yourself as a president of the United States or a prime minister of the United Kingdom or premier of China or chancellor of Germany. No. There's a training process. And the duty of producing a progressive, futuristic vision is the duty of the party. The duty of identifying leaders of tomorrow is that of the political party. The duty of grooming them is that of the political party. But here, political leaders and our political parties merely exist as vehicles for winning the next election. And after the next election, they are disbanded. And they change their names and character. And talk about the next. And really, quite frankly, I'm ashamed of our political class. The political class in Nigeria has not only let down Nigeria. The political class in Nigeria has let down the founding fathers and the founding vision of this country. And you know what? You invited me here. And when you invite me, you've got to be prepared to hear the truth.
Yes, sir.
The Nigerian political class action, unknown to themselves, the Nigerian political class is committing class suicide. Look at the parties, even, don't go to South Africa. When you say ANC, they will say, oh, it was formed because of apartheid, and they've been there for 100 years. So what stops you from keeping your own? If South Africa is too far, just, if you take a fast plane, in less than 1 hour, you'll be in Accra, Ghana. Not so.
Yes, yes.
Now look at Ghana. Look at Ghana. The two major parties, the NPP and the NDC, you see how they compete for power. Nobody is talking about glitches in collating their cyber, their what do they call it? Their software.
Yes.
Huh? Nobody is talking of malfunctioning beavers. You don't hear people killing one another.
Servers don't go down.
You don't hear ethnicity. You don't hear religious bigotry. Let me just take you back a few years. You know, President who left of the NPP, what was his name? Mahama. No, not Mahama. Akufo-Addo. Nana Akufo-Addo. You know, he ran and lost several. I think he was vice president to John Kufuor.
No, he was a minister.
Are you sure? Well, Attorney General, and I think he became, I'm not too sure about it, but he ran and lost. And kept running, but also kept losing. Now, he did not join NDC. He didn't decamp. You understand? The ministers of that party did not decamp to the other party. The regional governors of that party did not decamp. They stayed organized and then ran and won. Now, when he defeated the NDC, what happened? The NDC, Mahama, whom he defeated, did not lobby to join the NPP. The members of the NDC in Ghana never decamped to NPP. They stayed in their party, built their case, organized their people, confronted. They actually backed Mahama again. And Mahama lost again. And when Mahama lost, again, nobody came to Akufo-Addo's party. They stayed, minority in parliament, losing votes, but they stayed and rebuilt. Now, he was going, the NPP candidate, president was ending his 8 years, just like us. NDC again rallied around their leader, John Mahama. And the vice president, I think his name was Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia was the candidate of the ruling party, NPP. He had his president in office. He was the sitting vice president. There was no incumbency. There was no question of appointing INEC from his own local government or village or tribe. There was no question of the police IG or the director of SSS being from their village. Look, the Nigerian political class has killed this country, and you guys should not let it happen. They are killing Nigeria. They are making this country look small. And what happened in the general elections in Ghana? Even before the final tally was collected, Dr. Bawumia, this incumbent vice president, with the support, running with the support of the president and the governing party, called John Mahama of the opposition and considered defeat. And by so doing, consolidated once again Ghanaian constitutional democracy. So, you guys in the civil society movement in Nigeria, you have a lot to do. Your political class, not only are they committing class suicide, and I will tell you why. Your political class in Nigeria are destroying the country. Here in Nigeria, immediately somebody leaves. You have been elected a governor of a party several times. You come to the National Assembly several times. You are minister several times on a party. Some are even from minority leadership. Piam, they will say they are decamping. Leaving and abandoning the parties under whose mandate they won. And the constitution of this country is very clear. But the political class, as I will tell you shortly, while they are killing Nigeria. The judiciary is also helpless. The judiciary of Ghana will not tolerate that. The judiciary of these smaller, so-called small African countries will not tolerate that. You can see even with the force and the personality of Donald Trump, you see how the American judiciary is protecting guaranteed constitutional rights. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
They did that effectively in his first tenure. Even with the Supreme Court's nominations of conservative justices, you can see the judiciary fighting back to say, no, you can't deport. No, you can't take away birthright citizenship under the Constitution. But in Nigeria, it is all, everybody, it's either they say they are reading body language, or they will sing one song on your mandate. Because that's the president now. Under Buhari, it was the same. Whoever is there, our own democracy is the wishes and caprices of a president or a government, not playing by the rules. And they don't even care what happens. They don't care how they look at Nigeria. Can you imagine how Ghanaian leaders look at Nigerian leaders? Just because you lose election. Even a presidential running mate, my own friend, colleague, you have the guts to come out and address people and say that it was even a mistake that you were chosen. Have you heard that from any country? Have you heard that from any country? And yet, the survival of our democracy cannot be guaranteed unless we have strong political parties. But because the parties are weak, and the political class is destroying deliberately the institutions that will guarantee our democracy. You guys in the civil society movement have a lot more work to do. And let me tell you why I said the Nigerian political class is committing suicide. You see, if somebody wants, a Nigerian politician wants to rig elections, they jump to the ruling party. They are not going to the ruling party because they like the policies of the party or of the government. They want to control INEC, isn't it?
Yes.
Because they don't believe in free and fair elections. So they want a party that the president will direct INEC to give them result sheets so that INEC can compromise the results for them. They want to write the results in their states, in their local government areas. So the Nigerian political class does not believe in free and fair elections. The Nigerian politician jumps to ruling parties so that the federal system can give them security operatives, army, police, DSS, to go and shoot and kill their people if they resist. So you see how much work you have to do. And I led my state from 2015 to 2020 when I handed over in opposition for the first time. My people have never been in opposition. I taught them how to defeat federal might. I went around campaigning, community to community, for the first time, to enlighten them, to organize them, and which is why I'm telling you what you need to do, because I know a thing or two about that. And when they came, with soldiers, with DSS, with INEC conniving, They were writing results and announcing. Bayelsa women, some will lie down on the road. Say, army motor, where you climb and kill all of us. You can't carry results and pass. Bayelsa youths will mobilize their communities and they were tying down soldiers. Some of them fake ones. Because what most of these politicians who are never in touch with their people, they are not serving their people. They don't even relate with their people. They don't even go home. They don't even take the calls from their people. No. In fact, if their people come to see them, even in Abuja, they don't enter their houses. Their houses are too big, too beautiful. Even when they go home, the people don't even access them. If they are there, they can throw some small money to them and they pass. They don't have their time. Why? Because they know they don't need them. Do you understand?
Yes.
They know they don't need them. And election after election, they have been bringing true to the Nigerian system. A failed Nigerian federal system. But it's a failed state.
Yes.
It's a failed state that can deploy operatives that should secure and protect citizens. Give them to politicians, say go and rig a result and kill everybody and bring result. Is that not the hallmark of a failed country?
Yes.
And to us, that is normal. Among Nigerian politicians. That's normal. So, they don't believe in free and fair elections. They have no respect for the people and their safety. So, they take soldiers to kill them. Police, DSS to kill them. And worst of all, they don't believe in the judiciary to do free and fair and administer impartial justice. No. They have no respect for the Nigerian judiciary. No, they don't care. All they know is they will tell the judiciary what judgment to give. And they will get it. One way or the other. So you see, if you don't believe a politician or a group of politicians, a political class, you don't believe in free and fair elections, are you not working against yourself? Are you not committing class suicide? If you don't believe in due process and constitutionalism, you don't believe in the security agencies being supported to protect everybody, you are committing class suicide. If you don't believe that the judiciary has to be impartial and give fair judgments based on the facts and the law, not in accordance with who gives what, or who can promise what, and who is in position, that political class is not a serious one. They are committing class suicide. Because they are undermining the system from under. They are cutting the system down. And it's only a question of time. The system will just collapse. So, you have a lot of work to do as members of the civil society movement. To enlighten our people. And you know what the political class does? They divide our country. Because they know they are not going there or they are there not working for you. They will divide their country. So when you raise an issue, they say, you are a northerner, don't say this. They blackmail you. They will bring your ethnicity, your religion, your region. They say, oh, you are a Yoruba man. No, you should not be saying this. So, unlike Ghana, where people form opinions and take positions based on what is best for their country, the Nigerian political class, since independence, but much more now than ever before, they have perfected the art of dividing people, even you people in this room. even you people in this room, as enlightened, as patriotic as you think you are, there are people who will preach in their churches or preach in the mosques, and they color national discourse and get our people to choose leaders based on criteria that are irrelevant. What is relevant to me and you and to all of us in this country? Who can get the job done? Who can get the job done? And that's why for some of us, it doesn't matter where you come from. I've never, in fact, some of my people working with me, I don't even know the states they are from. What is important is, who are you? If you're a good person, you're a good person. This nation is looking for good leaders, good human beings. You can be from the north, you can be from the south, good human beings. If you happen to be religious, that to me is a major advantage. But religion should make you to be a better human being. Not so, not worse. Not worse. If you are a good Christian or a good Muslim, you'll be interested in your people who are hungry, who are poor, who are insecure. You'll be interested in them. That's what all religions teach. If you're a good Christian or good Muslim, you'll be interested in working for the people of Nigeria and for all humanity. Because God created us in His likeness and image and made us all children of one God. Children of one God. I'm a Pan-Africanist. So I see the entirety of the African nation as one. So for me, it's difficult to come to this level of micro, so I can't relate with it. What is important is good human being. A good human being will not steal. A good human being will be fair and just. A good human being will be honest. A good human being will have compassion. Now you have leaders talking and behaving like animals. Animals. Not just even wild animals, brutes. No conscience, no compassion. And guess what? No humanity too.
Yes.
No humanity. Yesterday, we lost the former head of state and president. Huh?
Yes, sir.
And today, later today, in accordance with his religious beliefs, he will be committed to Mother Earth.
Yes.
And you see, a journey that began in Katsina, in Daura, will end in nothing else. May God raise compassionate and good human beings who are humane and who also know that everything, including power, especially power, and life itself, is transient. And all religions will teach you that in addition to what you do here, and whatever judgment you get here, there is another lasting and more important judgment waiting for you after death. Not so?
Yes, sir.
So, that is where we are. So I urge you all, I've spoken for much longer than I wanted. But this is something that I'm quite passionate about. So thank you for inviting me. And I just thought I would share these thoughts with you and urge you all to work hard, not to give up. Never, ever, ever give up. Organize yourselves. Don't be threatened. Don't be intimidated. Hold on to your views. Anyone that you see that is doing well, support. Any idea that you think is worthy of your support, support. I do so even in opposition. When the president brought the NEL Fund bill, not only did I support it, I was appointed to chair the joint committees of both National Assembly chambers to rework the bill because it was getting problems. It was having a lot of issues. And as governor, I have done that. I did a lot in education, as I did in other fields as well, even in a recession. But I've created, for the first time in this country, my state, the tertiary education loan fund. And when the president forwarded that bill, I knew where it was going. I may disagree with him on other things, especially developments in River State, and all of you are aware of my views. Because that is an abuse of power and a naked power grab. An abuse of the Constitution. But I worked on the president's bill and we got it passed. But the president proposed the tax reform bills. Once I was sure that they were not adding additional tax burden to Nigeria, and they're actually reducing taxation from the lower income bracket. And I'm a federalist. I spoke in support. So we can support things when they make sense to us. But generally, you've got to go, organize yourself, strengthen yourself, and keep organizing until we retrieve Nigeria. Okay? Yes. This was not the country of Macaulay. This was not the country of Macaulay. They don't teach history, so a number of you, I hope you all know how we got here. A nation of different nationalities. British left their place and came here, conquered our ancient kingdoms. You see Benin, ancient empire, thousands of years ago. You see Daura, thousands of years ago. You see Kanem Borno, thousands of years ago. You see even down, if you go to the coast, where I come from, in the Niger Delta, the city-states of the John Nation, thousands of years ago. Or Igbo civilization in the southeast, thousands of years ago. Everywhere. The Kwara Kingdom. Now, the British came. We did not invite them. They were looking, and they are looking for minerals and for resources and to expand power. European powers, not only British, Portuguese, the French, they took Africa. And here the British came, conquered our people. They came with the Bible, came as traders, and later conquered our people. It was like a British real estate. In fact, when they had to leave, they were paid the remainder of their lease. The Royal Niger Company, which you now call Unilever, they were paid what was left. And then they put us together. That's not a bad thing. But our leaders rose. That's why I was talking about Macaulay. Zeke became General Secretary when he left Ghana and studied under Macaulay. And then Awolowo and others were following them. Zeke and Macaulay were the leaders. And NASS from my place. And all of Nigeria was one. And then they now, different constitutions, they now went, we don't have the time for that lesson. And then they now formed parties. And they encouraged our people. Division came in. We didn't do what Ghanaians did, for example. When Kwame Nkrumah led the whole Ghana to independence. Here they divided us, divided our leaders. And this country has not recovered from that. But the new generation of Nigerians must aspire to the ideals, the founding ideals. They were working together, even though they disagreed. But they were all working for Nigeria. And look at the quality of leadership that they gave those set of leaders. There was no oil money. Look at the quality of leadership. The Sardauna left in the north, working for Nigeria. When he left, how many billions did he leave? When Balewa was killed, how much did he leave? Even Awolowo in Southwest. What of Zik, the great Zik of Africa? So, my dear brothers and sisters, we have to return back to those founding ideals. Okay? But this time, do it the reverse way. Not to build a Nigeria from the regions. No. We have to try to craft a new Nigeria from the center for everybody. That was what the Ghanaians did. Nkrumah, who led Ghana to independence, was from a minority. It didn't matter to Ghanaians. It didn't matter to Ghanaians that he was Christian. It didn't matter to them. So that foundation is there. That's why today, when the entirety of Muhammad's family, they are Muslims. It's northern Ghana. To an average Ghanaian, it's not important. It's just like if you go to Southwest, my people, you can have Muslim husband, Christian. In fact, the husband can be an imam, or ulama. The wife can be a pastor. The first son will go to church. The second son can be Muslim. Because in the end, all these ones are not. Leadership and service is about who can do what for us. Because hunger, when it comes, does it ask you whether you are not or something? Or if you are a Christian like me, you will not be hungry. Or if you are Muslim like my friend here, bandits will not come to you. So you see, so we have a lot of sensitization work to do. Yeah? And let us all work together the way the founding fathers of Nigeria work together. Look at my leader, Harold Ababili. When he formed the NDC, it was an alliance with the Sardauna and the North. Yes. They were working together. That appeared like he didn't even leave a house. Yeah. He was living in. I didn't also know, as I was meeting him and he was lecturing me, I didn't know that where he was living was not his house. Until he died. Those generation of leaders. Unfortunately, we lost them. Maybe even too soon. A number of them. So, but now, let's learn from our history. And go back to the dream of one united, strong Nigeria. Where, in the words of our anthem, which has been brought back, though tribes and tongues may differ, but one brotherhood will stand. You see how our founding fathers were thinking? How they brought that anthem. They say, yes, we have different nationalities, but that's not important. We're building a new nation. A nation not for some, a nation for all. A nation for all. So, I know that these are not matters we can exhaust in one day. And as you have been told, I also have another event to grace. I hope we're not too late. I want to again thank you all for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Please keep the Nigerian dream alive, because we are the only country that can make Africa great. No other country can do it.
Yes.
I don't want to call countries, but they don't have what we have. None of them can do it. In this our south, in this our area, or even down, they can't. So we are truly African. And we are the ones, if we rise, then Africa rises with us. Okay? And that will not be possible unless we have a democratic, peaceful, united Nigeria that is just and inclusive. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for the Senator Henry Dixon. We are very grateful for this very, very clarifying lecture. It's an epoch-making event, very historic, and I am happy everybody has their notepad and a biro pen in their various hands, jotting down the various lectures, the different lectures. On constitutional democracy, credible leadership, and the need for us to emulate our forefathers and build upon their legacies. For want of time, and of course for us to save his time, because he had a lot backlog of issues to attend to, we want to seek his permission, and it's not even his permission. We will seek his blessing to declare our state ESCOs and regional ESCOs hereby inaugurated. So, and we will further communicate to him we are going to sit back, like he said. It's like a trigger. He has given us this trigger. It is left for us to build upon it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We shall soon open our national secretariat, and everybody shall feel free to come there, register, and then advance your opinion so that we can move forward.
Abdul,
Yes, sir.
I've come here to interact with my brothers and sisters. And we have touched on a number of core issues about our country. I know that I have a number of engagements, and I thank you for being sensitive to that. But I would like to take like 2 or 3 questions. One of them must be a woman, because we are very, very gender sensitive. Yes. So you can make who else? Okay, the gentleman in the suit. Huh? Okay. Better if you no, give it to the woman. Okay, she's sleeping.
No, I'm not sleeping, sir. I want to use myself.
Okay, please.
Good afternoon all. Thank you for the opportunity. I have a question that is bothering on most of us here. You touched on it a little, but I want to ask a question based on that. I want to know what you think or what your feelings are in the areas of INEC, in the sense that INEC will say something and do something different. So my question is, in the area of transmission of the results, what are your feelings in that regard? You can throw more light for us.
Am I working?
Abdul, where's the microphone? Abdul, let me have it.
Okay, let's answer.
Okay. Thank you. INEC is a very critical national institution, and it's at the center of this conversation about democracy and democratic change. It can't work unless INEC is, number one, impartial and independent, as the name implies. But whether it is independent in fact, it's a conclusion you all can draw. Okay? INEC has to strive to be that. and should be supported by all. The processes that INEC unfolded in the last election, and I know you're asking this question because of the general dissatisfaction about the way things went when you say they said one thing and did another. We hope that all have learned. The parties, candidates, and INEC itself, the security agencies, have all learned. I hope that we have all renewed our commitment to true democracy, which is why we're having this conversation. It is for you people, civil society, to continue to raise the issues. In the parliament, in the Senate, I serve on the, amongst other committees, I serve on the committee on INEC to electoral matters. And we are currently reviewing the electoral law. Yes, laws are good, but laws do not implement themselves. Yes, laws are good. Laws do not implement themselves. You can pass a good law for an election and still have a terrible election outcome, because it has to do with attitude and behavior and patterns of conduct, particularly by those in authority. It's not the poor people who go and compromise the system. It's the desperation from the political class. That's why I say a political class that does not respect free and fair elections has no right to exist. They are committing class suicide. So processes are not ideal. Practices themselves are also not ideal. The laws probably also not. We are working on the laws. We're interfacing with INEC. But like I said, let's only be hopeful. But you see, you civil society, that's where you come in again. To do the sensitization and to work, mobilize, create awareness to hold people accountable. While we all remain hopeful and prayerful. But praying is good, but we also have to work hard to hold them to account. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Senator, for that question.
Yes, I want to hear from Melinda.
She's here
If
now.
possible, more than one self. You don't mind.
After her, you talk.
Who can cook?
Good afternoon, distinguished.
Yes.
I stand on existing protocol.
What's your name, ma'am?
Okay, my name is Honorable Fatima Abdullah Sani. I'm the deputy coordinator of
Okay.
regional coordinator.
Very good.
Yes, sir. So the question I'm just trying to ask here is that in the sense of women gender,
Yeah.
I believe that you are very good in gender sensitive. How will you put women in their position in order to occupy their 36% of the rate? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Madam, you are talking to the converted, eh? I'm not only a member, I'm leading the crusade, the vanguard for women empowerment in the political sphere. As governor, I made a lot of appointments for women, supported so many for elected positions, and so on and so forth. And we'll keep doing that. You know why? Because when you empower a woman, you have touched the entire family. Once a woman is supported and she rises, and all of us have our mothers. There are very few men who say they don't like their mothers. So we men sometimes I remind them, they're not just talking of a wife and who can survive without a wife. So you have your mothers, You have your wives who are supporting us, praying with us, fighting with us to be where we are running our families. Then we have our daughters, we have our sisters. So every man should be conscious that we have a duty to support and encourage women. And from personal experience, I know that when you support a woman, the effects are very wide. Very wide. So we've got to continue to do that. There are proposals before us. I chaired the South-South Zonal Constitution Review Panel, and a lot of our leaders, women leaders, mobilized and presented their memo, and I was very supportive. I'm one of those pushing, if possible, for special seats for women. We'll work out the modalities. And let me use the opportunity to say men should not be afraid of that. That will not displace men. There are other, when we go outside for international engagements, parliamentary engagements, there are a lot of countries that are perfected that, even in Africa, particularly in Africa, they are perfected that. They have their original seats that are contested for. Then they have a system by which they determine extra seats that are given to women, that are just for women. And they are starting there. We are not at that level where women and men should be competing in an equal. Now in the Senate, we have only 3 women. You have Senator Ipalebo Banigo, former deputy governor. You have the former deputy governor of Lagos State, and then you have Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Out of Senator Ireti. So just 4. Out of 109. That is grossly inadequate. As a matter of fact, the low level of female elected officials in the Nigerian political system is an indictment on the sensibilities of our people. It's an indictment. It doesn't portray us as people who are gender sensitive, and that has to be corrected. So I'm one of them. As a matter of fact, they call me a he for she ambassador. And on a light note, I also have a number of daughters too.
Wow,
Congratulations. It's good for all women to be supported and encouraged to aspire for any office.
You are adopting us as your daughters now, sir.
Oh yeah, no problem. So we are working on that. That's part of what your body, the civil society community, can take up to fight for women. It's not fair for women to, in the Nigerian context, look for the money that men spend, fight with talks and so on and so forth, campaign at night, do all the type of things and so on. And which is why I'm not happy when a woman, these few women that are there that we should encourage, when anyone is treated in a manner that is not fair. I don't support that. We should be encouraging them, not discouraging them. We should be making the process easier for them and more bearable. Can you imagine what Senator Natasha has to go through? The entirety of the federation, preferring charges, police this, security agencies treating this. Then, well, for the Senate, we have our procedures which we are following. And I've spoken to the press that she has to, with the judgment, there's need for her to resume her seat. Okay? I feel it's not a I hope that everybody will imagine that happening to their mothers, or their sisters, or their wives, or their daughters, and ask themselves whether they will support it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's specific.
Please,
Yeah, last one, so that.
Represents, you know, what
Thank you, Excellency, sir. All protocols to observe. My name is Taking Comrade Crescent Lamanya Gold, the Southeast Coordinator. So please, during the weekend, I saw a news about the INEC, if they are going to make the election of the chairman like an independent, not being like appointed by the president. In as much as we as the civil society, we have a lot to play, the senators and the House of Reps also have a lot to play to make sure that things are done right in our nation. If that kind of bill is being passed, that the president has no right to appoint the INEC chairman, that would be very good, because we'll be very sure that election can be held and it will be credible and it will also be free and fair. So we want to know if that is a rumor or it is something they are working on at the House of Reps. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Permit me to add my own question too, to build it on top of its own.
Okay.
How do we reconcile that with the late Justice Muhammad West Committee? I think he made similar recommendations in the past.
Okay. There's somebody there who has been raising them. So this one. That last one. At the back.
Have you showed your name?
Yeah?
Thank you for the privilege, sir.
Yes.
My name is Ondo from Ondo State.
From Ondo?
Ondo State.
Okay.
Attendees to the program. I have two questions sharply. Sir, as a parliamentary, I want to ask, the recent system of government, you spoke a length, the people who have been elected in one political party, holding the mandate of the party, and because of their personal interests, leave the mandate of the party, went to another. Is there any way as a parliamentary that law can be made that defection in our political system can be restricted? If you defect from one political party, one certain period of time, 4 years you cannot move to another party, 2 years you cannot move to another party. That will restrict our leaders to have the people in mind, not only to think of their personal interests. That's one. And second, my second question is INEC. Is there this, we have been looking, the INEC is an independent body, but what we truly need as citizens of Nigeria, a fair and free election in Nigeria, we need a total reform in an INEC. How can we go about that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so let me and I will begin with the last one. The last gentleman from Ondo, he talked about reforms in INEC that can guarantee free and fair elections. Like I said, those reforms have to be legal and administrative. The legal ones we are doing. And INEC itself, I believe, say they are also looking at their internal processes. But like I said, whether it is laws or administrative reviews, the taste of the pudding is not in the looking. It is what? And when you chop am, then you go know what in the pudding be. So all these reforms, whether laws, yes, which we are doing, INEC, they say one thing and do another, as the gentleman said before. We are hoping that you Nigerians will follow them bumper to bumper. That's why I'm charging you people to let Nigerians be alive to their duties. Talking about reform. Then the law against defection. I was going to answer you that there's already a law against defection in the Constitution. And it's not even in any law. It is in the Nigerian Constitution. You see how the political class, I say, is committing class suicide and destroying the country. They don't even respect the laws, not even the Constitution. If you respect the Constitution, you can't be doing what you are doing in River State and say so that administrators should do local government elections. You can't do that. Standing the Constitution on its head and claiming to be right and justify it and bulldoze everywhere. That's what everybody's doing. So the same way, if you look at the Constitution, it's very clear that if you are a legislator, unless there is a national division in your party, which means you must have 2 secretariats, you must have 2 chairmen, and 2 different parallel ESCO. PDP has come close to that for some time because of the issues, unnecessary issues that they are allowed to linger in and create about the national secretary. But that has been resolved. I hope we can move forward as a party. So that provision is there. But the courts are not held. Even when pronouncements are there are judicial pronouncements that unless there is a division in the national ESCO, if you become, you lose your seat. The judges have done their work. But the political class, I've told you, the Nigerian political class, they are not respecting it. Neither the Constitution nor the judgments of the court. And now they have conditioned the Nigerian judiciary. The Nigerian judiciary. Otherwise, it's a straightforward thing. If somebody has defected, you ask yourself, the judge will ask himself, is there a division in the National Working Committee or not? Even the same day, the judge will write a decision. But the judiciary, they're not doing their job, they're afraid. They have been rendered, as I said, condition. So, where you don't have people respecting the Constitution and the laws, where people don't respect judiciary, people don't respect the police or the law enforcement, people just want their personal will to try, it's chaos. And it's the Nigerian political class that is creating it. That's why I say they are committing class suicide. Ways report, yes. Ways team and other teams as well have made a lot of recommendations. Those recommendations have to lead to amendments of laws, new laws, and so on and so forth. But like I said, in all of this, the attitude of Nigerians to power and politics. If you have a ways report in the law, will they follow it? If they don't follow it, will there be consequences? So those are the things. And then appointment of chairman of INEC. We are dealing with a lot of proposals. And I know there are proposals on this. But for me, I don't think that this is the problem. In Ghana, as I told you, where the election had not even been concluded before a sitting vice president respected the process, and the president too did not interfere and conceded. The Ghanaian INEC commission was appointed by the president now. Was appointed by the president. Just the same way, the example that President Jonathan set here, he appointed Jega. He did not know Jega. Jega is not from his own part of the country. Jega is not of his own religion. And in Nigeria, since we started this election thing, no Nigerian president or head of state has appointed somebody from his own place to be chairman of INEC before. President Jonathan appointed Jega, a Muslim from the north, a professor known for integrity. That was what people look for.
Yes.
And then introduce beavers, introduce card reader. Because our elections have to go electronic. We have to deploy technology. Not these manual ones that you come and capture one person, kidnap one person. That's what they do. They bring thugs, soldiers, kidnap somebody, write result, announce, say they have won election for where. So the appointment, some may consider it important, but for me, the other processes and the totality of the due process and the attitude of the political class and the citizens, the behavior of INEC officials themselves. The power of appointment alone is not the thing. Even if we say, okay, it is this civil society body that will appoint the person. Suppose you get there and that person begins to chop money, looking for money everywhere. Go. Huh? People will be traveling to Switzerland to give him millions of dollars, and he comes then, announces, and says, what do you do? So it's a lot of work that has to be done. The laws, the administrative processes, and then our own attitudes. And the judiciary sitting up, the police sitting up. Most of what they call planning for election is commission of crimes. No, I used to be a policeman. I started life as a policeman. Huh? I'm a trained police detective. When I see someone, I will just be shaking my head. Planning election in a state or in opposition, you will see police DSG there. The man that is going to, and they will select the person. You will see SS or a big man there. You will see the INEC person that will supervise the election at that meeting. You will see the leaders of the ruling party at that meeting. Maybe you see people with money there. If it were in those days, we would put handcuffs on their hands, all of them. Because what the average Nigerian politicians sit down and do and discuss is simple commission of crimes. Pure and simple. The laws are there. The laws are there. You see a DIG seated. It has been happening to me. Every opposition election is battle. They will kill people and nothing happens. That's why they are running to the ruling party. So they can give them police, army, security, and INEC fake results. Every election, they have been giving them, the leaders of the opposition, fake results to write. So they want to take advantage of that. It's not because of any policy they agree with. Forget this notion of, oh, we want to be connected, linked to the center. No, it's lie. If you are not part of a ruling party at the center, are you not part of Nigeria? Does it stop the federal government from doing things in your state?
No, sir.
Okay, the ones that are in the center, that are in the party controlled by, how many of the federal projects do they have? So, all that is bullshit. They are doing so, the campaign, because they want to be beneficiaries of criminal behavior and conduct. That's all. So we have a lot of work to do. Okay?
Yes.
The power of appointment, yeah, but I don't think that is the solution. It's a cosmetic way of looking at it. It has to be a comprehensive, all-inclusive strategy, but anchored on what you people do as civil society bodies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, okay, maybe a group picture or something.
Outside. A question? Wait, that's no choice.
We will have another interaction. Well, I've congratulated and thanked them for putting themselves together and for inviting me. I've come here to encourage them and to tell them not to lose hope about Nigeria. Nigeria is too important for Nigeria, all Nigerians. Nigeria is too important for Africa and the world to be allowed to slide into chaos and disorder and crisis and disrepute the way we are going. And I've charged them to do their work by sensitizing and mobilizing and organizing Nigerians at the grassroots level, the polling units, in all the wards, in all the local government areas, and across the length and breadth of this country, and to sensitize our people not to be swayed by divisive messages of tribe, region, and ethnicity. Okay? We're all Nigerians, members of this great Nigerian family, the most important black nation on the face of the earth, and we need to mobilize and move together. Well, I've charged them to increase their costs, enlarge their costs, and bring in as many civil society operatives as possible. Because it's a big job. It's a big job, and they need all hands on deck. Thank you.
All right, my name is Idris Awal Zarma. I'm from Borno State, one of the coordinator of the event. Well, it's a very interesting event, and it's actually timely, considering the trajectory of our political system in Nigeria today. You understand that civil society of this nature is actually apt in coming to checkmate their activity, like the guest speakers said. Honorable distinguished Senator Seraki Dixon, he has enlightened the public on a very keynote issues that civil society are indeed a very strong backbone of Nigeria's democracy.
What long-term vision does NCSADC have?
It has, yes, the long-term vision is to checkmate the activities of Nigerian political democrats in through monitoring their continuous participation in democracy, and we also are there to enlighten the public and bring out the best in the political system.
So what should Nigerians expect from the new leadership going forward?
Yeah, there will be a profound leadership, as considering the nature of the individuals involved. We have a representative from the entire 36 states. We have regional offices, and we also have coordinators from every state. So therefore, you should expect a very wide coverage of enlightenment politically.
Do you think today's training will have a ripple effect beyond this room?
Yeah, indeed it will. If it's going to, as I am standing here, so the keynote speaker has indeed changed my mentality on what it means on the nature of political system in Nigeria. What he's saying is that we have the weapon to checkmate our political leaders, which, like I said in my introduction, the trajectory of the way our politics is moving this day is not moving as at how our founding fathers have placed it to us. It's just a need. There's actually a need for series of change, and we'll actually try our best to see that we come to provide a very good, robust challenges to the democratic system.
So lastly, what can you say to those people watching?
We hope they should join hands with us, join hands with every civil society organization around them, to make sure that Nigeria get the best leadership they deserve. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, just introduce yourself and tell us your role.
Okay, my name, I am Honorable Ambassador Abdulmumini Abdul Salam. I am co-convener and of course co-founder of the Nigerian Civil Society Alliance for Democratic Change.
What can you say about today's inauguration and workshop?
Today's inauguration and workshop was very wonderful, an epoch-making event. It's a very stark reminder to all of us in the civil society to get our acts together, to build an alliance across the divides, and to prepare to build a nation that will stand the test of time, especially in our democratic experiment.
What inspired the formation of this alliance, and what gap is it hoping to fill in Nigeria's
So the primary inspiration and trigger, behind this alliance is for the needs for us to fill the vacuum. Our democracy has been confronted by a lot of challenges. People who are no business, being in the democratic space are there, creating all manner of, problems, creating frictions and tensions and exploiting the system. And then what we hope to, achieve in the short term is for us to see how we can rebuild the people's confidence, making them once again to believe that democracy can actually succeed in Nigeria, especially on the issue of constitutional democracy, rooting for credible leadership from the grassroots, from all levels of the subnational, state, subnational, national, and even at the grassroots level, and very importantly, to uphold the rule of law. Yes.
So there was a selection of experts today. Tell us, how was the process of selecting the executive council carried out to ensure inclusion and representation?
So the selection process was, was carefully, carried out, and we ensure that there are regional issues of regions, regional balancing, gender, sensitivity, you may say gender inclusivity, and also the issue of people who have the vision, who have the integrity, and of course who have the track record, the antecedents to function in this civil society alliance space. So we ensured a very fair process. We took our time in the last 2 months planning just for the ESCO's composition, and it was not with any sentiments. It was just based on merit and competence.
What can you say about the speaker's speech?
The what?
The speaker's speech.
The speaker's speech, the guest speaker, our guest speaker spoke wonderfully well. He spoke like a father. He spoke like a leader. He spoke as a man who has seen it all. He has been through the corridor of power. He has seen, the ups and downs of our democracy. He has seen how our democracy and, of course, the rule of law and, of course, our politics is taking the back seat, is, undergoing terrible erosion. And he's out to inspire all of us, to call on us to bridge our gaps and the divide, and then work together for a better society.
What message are you taking from everything he said?
The take home here is that we need to galvanize ourselves. We need to, get education to our people, because our people are grossly uneducated. Most of the issues that he advanced are issues that are very germane, that are eaten into the fabrics of our national democratic practice for a very long time. But nobody has brought it. Or would I say most people, only very few people have brought it to the fore. We commend his courage, because it takes a courageous man to speak what he spoke here today. And of course, he didn't sound confrontational, but he sounds like a leader, a visionary leader, who is rooting for the transformation of Nigeria.
All right, lastly, what can you say to those people watching you out there who are passionate about this movement?
For those people who are watching us out there, please buckle up, be informed that we are out, we are rolling out. There is no stopping. This is not a stopgap measure. This is a comprehensive, broad-based solution we are bringing to sanitize the system. Electoral reform, a sanitized politics and everything. We are out to work. Please join us. Come to our national office secretariats. We shall open very soon in the next 1 week or thereabouts, so that we can work together. We can actually cross-fertilize our ideas and move the country forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.